Hold you 1 second.
No, ain't no. Hold on. I gave you enough pictures. I gave you enough pictures. Yesterday, you tweeted about me. You tweeted and called me dumb. You called me dumb.
Yes, I get a chuckle out of all of this. Obviously, you guys know my history with Roland Martin. Some of my history, he's a troll. How many? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I let him come to my home in Los Angeles and interview me for more than 2 hours. He argued like a woman. He did not engage, I felt like, in an authentic way, but I hosted him, went on for 2 hours, and I've washed my hands of Roland Martin. He's tried to ambush me. He and Patrick Bet-David tried to pull some stunt down in Florida where, they wanted to set me and Roland up in some kind of Negro cage match. I have no interest in further debating Roland Martin. I don't think he's an honest broker. I don't think he's an honest person. I don't think I think he's bought and paid for it, no different than Jamal Green. But we're going to let Jamal Green welcome to Fearless.
Yes.
I have to say, I enjoyed your engagement with Roland Martin, but I want a little background. You're younger than I anticipated. So go ahead and walk us through name, rank, serial number, where you're from, what you do. Give us a little background on yourself.
Well, I'm from the city of Chicago. I've been, an activist since I was a young boy. I've been fighting in these streets since I was a teenager. Whether it was to put the guns down Ambassador when I was 18, whether it was, going through the streets when we were fighting, for fighting against poverty and fighting for resources for our communities. I'm a business owner. I invest in businesses, business owners here in the city of Chicago. When it was, looting going on in Chicago, I gave $250,000. We raised and gave $250,000 to get businesses back open. When Chase Bank was redlining communities, we made them give back $1 billion by rolling up and shutting down all of the branches so that Chase can pour back into the community. So I've always, for years, and I'm also the youngest candidate to ever run for mayor of Chicago and beat several elected officials. So, I've always been active here in our city, speaking out against the politicians, leaders, pastors, anyone who speaks against the very people who are actually suffering in these communities. And we don't see enough voices in these communities that are represented. You always got people that they put up there that look like us, but don't share our experiences. And we got folks like Roly-Poly, who, is just here to push the Democratic agenda and call people names who don't agree with them. I'm an independent voice, and I have always been so for many years.
How many years have you been on this earth? Did you grow up in Chicago?
29.
Which high school? Where'd you go to college? You're 29 years old. You grew up in which high school? Did you go to college?
Chicago.
Give us a little bit more. Yeah.
So 29 years old. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 15 years old. I went to Wendell Phillips High School. I actually just got inducted in the Hall of Fame of Wendell Phillips here in Chicago, which is one of the prestigious high schools in the city. So I got inducted. I'm the new class of this year in the Hall of Fame. Because of all the work that I have been doing on several businesses. I'm a real estate broker as well with several realtors under me. And we push an economic agenda in our communities and help folks build wealth. Everyone needs to own property. We push to increase the home ownership rate. We help folks get business funding and things of that sort. And we teach and educate with expos and trolley tours and virtual seminars each week to teach people how they can build generational wealth. And it's called Generational Green.
And there's a website, Generational Green.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I want to promote and support what you're doing.
Yep. So Generational Green is a one-stop shop for folks to come in and be educated on finance and invest in real estate. Many folks out there are not educated on, how they can participate in buying real estate, whether it's buying multi-units or buying single-family properties for their families. And as you know, Black people, we've always had the lowest home ownership rate, since the beginning of time, and we still have it at around 44%, and it's much lower here in the city of Chicago. So we teach people all throughout the urban communities, but all throughout the city, but a lot in the urban communities, to get folks to be educated to understand how they could build their credit. We got a credit repair program. We got a tax clinic, so we help them with their taxes. We have lenders. We work with the vice presidents of many large lenders who give incentives for our clients. We got 4,000 people in the pipeline right now, and so we teach and help folks become owners, to empower them to be better in their communities. Because what I know is, as someone who bought in a prestigious community for my children to have a great school to go to, is that when you have communities where majority are homeowners and really have a stake in their communities, their mindset changes. They think differently. They care about who throwing trash on the ground. They care about how good their school is. They're going to go up there to hold folks accountable. And that's what happens in my community. And we want that to be all across, this state and nation.
Jamal, you're far more fascinating than I anticipated. So forgive me as the conversation wanders a little bit. But are you up on a young brother from Albany, Georgia named King Randall? Because you remind me of a different version of King Randall.
Yeah.
Man, y'all need to connect.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all in the same lane doing different things. He's teaching young boys just proper etiquette and all kinds of things. He's got a school for boys. You're like the college program for what he's doing. Yeah. He's getting them and so I want to connect you two I want to connect. And then I'm wondering, are you friends or have you connected with the guy I went to college with, the rooftop pastor, Corey Brooks in Chicago?
He's one of the closest people to me.
Holy cow. How did he not reference you to when this is over, I'm calling Corey.
Get on him.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. And so you have a spiritual base as well. You have a relationship with God.
For sure, 100%, and I always have all my life. Pastor Brooks, I just got off the phone with him not too long ago. He was loving this rolling beef. He's like, good, you got him, because he was on his way to the church yesterday. And, I've been next to him for definitely over a decade, since I was a teenager, and been knowing him and been around Pastor Brooks. And I think many people, they talk a lot of stuff about him. They don't know him. I know him. I was there with him all of these years. I've seen the work that he put in. I watched how, if I pull up on Pastor right now, there's going to be a lot of guys from the block who, if he wasn't there, they'll be out there selling drugs or, killing or whatever the case, that he has grabbed from O-Block and actually invested in them and put them on payroll to do things for the community, whether it is cleaning up the community, whether it is helping him with the community center, whether it's mentoring youth. I was there, so I know it. And so he is a amazing brother, and I don't let nobody put no dirt on that man's name.
Awesome. This is so awesome to hear. So what were you hoping to accomplish yesterday as it relates to confronting Roland Martin? Where did you confront him at, and what were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, they had a political, it really was a coon fest in my view. We have a faction of the Democratic Party that's just full of older, these civil rights type individuals, and they go and get these crowds where everybody in there are senior citizens and up. No one in the crowd is under 65 here, right? And then they go and grab Roland Martin, that's who his supporters are, the old civil rights crowd, and they literally did an event that was all about symbolism and we got to vote and we got to, nothing of substance. Not one time did they talk about, man, here's a plan that can benefit us. And even when someone brought it up on the panel, Roland said, well, we ain't got to, we need to focus on this. And maybe if we had better infrastructure, we can get that. But right now we have to vote. You know what I'm saying? They continuously tell us that we don't deserve to move forward a plan for our communities. Yet you look at every other group of people, they move forward plans for their communities. Israel, Palestine, Asia community. You can go on down the line. The Jewish community being the biggest lobby, Republicans and Democrats both pro-Israel. Everyone builds their infrastructure and forces politicians on both sides to adopt their agenda. Roland Martin and these folks are paid to go out there to push people to symbolism. Just vote for her because she's a black woman. We need symbolism. Just vote for her because we don't want Trump in the White House. Vote for her because we don't want a Project 2025. One person said this yesterday, Jason. She said, we talk about Project 25. Why we don't have our own Project 25? Roland Martin changed the subject within 5 seconds. I'm sitting there like, man, it's all a game. It's all a game. And so what I went yesterday was I wanted to have a conversation with Roland Martin because, you know, he been real heavy with his Twitter fingers and on his show talking about me, yet I didn't come for him. He came for me. So he went on Twitter, called me dumb. He said I was clueless, said I was an idiot because I was criticizing a plan that Kamala Harris put out. And all I said was, black folks won't get the lion's share of this money, so why you capping, right? Because it was a piece of that plan and the language showed that immigrants and immigrant families can get access to that money, and that's really what the plan was for. Now, Roland Martin didn't like that I said that, so he came on my page and started calling me dumb, stupid, and did a show about me and called me a fool on his show. So now I just wanted to go and have a conversation and say, man, I see you've been heavy on the Twitter fingers. Let's talk about this man to man. Instead, he let a woman get in front of him and he ain't had nothing to say. And, I said earlier, Jason, I said, listen, folks who would say elder. I said, Roland is not an elder. He is just an older man and he is not wise, because he was wise. He would have been trying to talk to the young buck, right? And say, hey, I want to let's come on my show. Let's debate this, or let's talk about these issues. Instead, the first thing that he said to me, I never said nothing to him. He came to my page and called me dumb and stupid. Okay, that ain't an elder. And so he's just a grown child. And you saw that by how he reacted to me when I came to him as a man.
There's nothing better at the end of a long day than sitting down in your favorite easy chair with a glass of your favorite whiskey. And hey, if it turns out that with every glass, you're helping to support a great American cause, doesn't get much better than that, doesn't taste much better than that. It's time to chart your own course with Flying Ace whiskeys from Craft Co. Inspired by generations of American aviators and proudly made right here in the United States, Flying Ace is not only making amazing whiskeys, they're also committed to supporting our brave troops and their families through their partnership with Folds of Honor. They're providing scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled, and these scholarships allow families to begin to chart their own new course. After experiencing great sacrifice, Flying Ace whiskeys are American proud because they're American made, and they're American proud because they're helping to support our heroes and their families. Don't wait around. Today's the day to get your own and see what all the hype is about. Buy online at flyingacesspirits.com. Use the promo code AMERICA to get free shipping. That's Flying Aces, Ace with an S at the end, spirits.com. Promo code AMERICA for free shipping. This sounds so similar, although I don't think they've had a face-to-face confrontation, but I think Roland and King Martin had a similar back and forth over social media, over Twitter, where Roland was basically telling King Randall he didn't know what he was doing, he was an idiot, how dare you not support X, Y, and Z, or why are you trying to do this? And when I see young guys like yourself, like King Randall, and I'm not trying to say, hey, look how much better I am than Roland. That's not my point here. But I don't understand why those of us that are older wouldn't look at you young guys that are stepping up, that have the energy, have the desire to want to actually put things into action that make a difference. Why aren't we just celebrating you all and trying to support you all and trying to make sure you have all the backing that you need, because you actually have the youth and the energy? It's like we forget that Dr. King and these people were your age when they were and younger when they were making this impact. We have to figure out a way to empower, particularly young men like yourself. That's what we should be looking for. I'm on the hunt, and that's why, again, I'm gonna follow up with Corey. I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm gonna follow up with King Randall. There's things we can do together. Have you heard from Roland since yesterday? Willing to walk back or interest in engaging with you, or?
I think Roland probably a little embarrassed, so he's still in his feelings. But, at the end of the day, man, it's just what you said is important, right? And that's what Pastor Brooks did with me. Me and Pastor Brooks, we fight all day long. We can fight all day long, and we gonna go to dinner and we gonna hang out. But he looks at me as the young bull. Even though I disagree with Jamal, I'm gonna support Jamal on the things that I agree with him on, and we can have, good conversation and work together. That's what it's about. It's not for us to always agree. It's fine that we disagree. That's what it's. Everyone has their own pathway on how we get some form of justice, liberation, or whatever we're looking for. And the reality is that Roland Martin, he is a paid Democratic shield that should be trying to convince people to come over to his side. He would rather just attack people. Now, you supposed to be outside of him just being should be acting like he's an elder. He should be professional enough to say, man, this young guy got influence in Chicago. This young guy got influence in this city. Let me call and talk to him and see why he don't like the Democratic Party and what he's criticizing, and maybe I can convince him. But instead, he utilizing his platform to just attack all of us instead of bring us into the fold. And I think that's just crazy to me. So I just wanted to have a conversation. I wasn't, listen, like I told people, if I wanted to just be aggressive, I would have been aggressive. I wasn't trying to go on her demand. I mean, I know he was scared. I went and I stood there for several minutes. See, before that video, I was there for several minutes while he was taking pictures with the singers. So I'm letting him take his little pictures with the singers. He kept, hold on. He kept, trying to push it off. Until I got to the point where I'm like, come on, man, stop playing. All right. And then that's when, he got scared and backed off and had that woman on his team get in front of him, and he ain't say not another word. He could have, at that moment, Jay, he could have said, hey, you know what? You right. I said some stuff on Twitter. We had some engagement. You reached back out to me. Let's go in this hallway and let's have a conversation. You get what I'm saying? But at no point from when he started attacking me to at that event, as he said, however old he is, let me just talk to this brother. I'd rather just attack him and try to make him mad. I mean, that's insane to me. But that's what I guess, them dollars is doing over there.
So state your political position. I've read online, but I wanted to hear it from your own self. You're not a Republican or a Democrat. No. What are you? What is your political philosophy?
I'm independent. I think that I don't think that either party fully represents our interest. And I think that we've been on a Democratic plantation for so long, and we keep playing into symbolism and emotion instead of actual tangibles. We did it with Obama. Obama don't like me either. We did it with several other politicians, and I spoke out against it because Obama's from here, and Obama gave us Rahm Emanuel, and we know what Rahm Emanuel did here in this city. And Obama didn't like the things that I said about him and Obama during that time, so he banned me from all his events. But anyway, the point is that I'm independent. Someone has to be a voice for the unheard. These politicians don't come in our communities. These young boys that I give jobs to try to get them off the street, they'll never meet none of these politicians who are actually in power. They'll never meet none of these people who claim they care about black people because they don't come into our neighborhood. So I have to be independent so that I can push folks to adopt an agenda that will trickle down to the very people that are suffering the most. And if that means, pushing back against these Democrats, which I'm in a Democrat-ran state and city, a terrible ran city, Brandon Johnson being one of the worst mayors that Chicago has ever had. And now we have the migrant situation, and they're paying millions of dollars each day on housing, 6 months of rent, shelters, food. We gave $125 million contract for food. We got health care, child care. We paying thousands of dollars each day to transport them to and from work and school and watch their children. We're spending millions of dollars each and every single day. But veterans are homeless, but 20,000 young people are homeless, but there are people here that are without jobs. We have the highest unemployment rate of any metro area with an urban population in this country with over 100,000 people without jobs. But our priority can be to spend millions on this crisis because the Democrats told us to. We need common sense. And so my ideology is I'm common sense. So when I speak, they say, oh, you sound Republican. No, it's common sense. Don't play the politics. This is common sense. Now, if the Republicans believe in common sense, then Republicans is correct on it. But this is common sense that the very citizens, the people who have been in these communities, who pay taxes, who have been in these communities each and every year begging for resources, they deserve first over everybody.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.